Going into our last topic today, and this is going to be the good one for this podcast, one that I'm very interested in, something that I've been thinking about ever since the beginning of college football season. Top 5 quarterbacks for this draft class, because we know the NFL draft class this year, especially for the quarterback position, one of the most stacked we've seen since the year we had like Baker, we had Josh Rosen, we had Josh Allen, we had Sam Darnold, and we had Lamar all go in the first round. You're going to see 5 go 100% in this round, first round, in my opinion. My top 5, I'm going to go, or what should we do here? Should I name them for you guys right now, or should I do them in order so it's kind of a shock? But you already know the 5 guys, so whatever. I'll start off with 5 so you guys don't know. Save some of the suspense about maybe do I throw some random guy in here. Like, I'm trying to think of someone random. Like, what if Kyle Trask gets in here? Who knows? He could be number 5, but you guys don't know that yet. But coming in at number 5 in my NFL QB draft class rankings, I have North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a guy I love personally, like, not in the way is just forget I said that. But Trey Lance is a guy that the character he has, I love the attitude he plays with, and I love the way he plays football, and his play style is really fun to watch too. There's just 4 other guys that I think, if I'm looking at this as an NFL GM, I think that there are 4 other guys that I'd rather take than Trey Lance. Not saying that Trey Lance is not a good quarterback at all. This draft class is stocked. Just to be in the top 5 is a huge accomplishment. But you look at what he did at NDSU. Obviously, he played FCS football. I can't remember if he played any Division I, like FBS schools. I know he was supposed to have a matchup this year with Oregon that got canceled due to COVID. But anyways, looking back at 2019, which was his big season, he played 1 game this season because NDSU, I'm pretty sure they're playing now for FCS Spring Ball, but they did schedule a game with Central Arkansas. 2019, he threw for 192 completions. He threw for 66.9% completion rate, 2,786 yards, 9.7 average for 28 TDs and no interceptions. This guy can play. This guy can play, no doubt about it. And he rushed for 1,100 yards. You got a mobile quarterback. You got a guy who can throw the ball. Out from Fargo, North Dakota. He's going to be a great quarterback no matter where he goes. If you're into that rushing style, if you are a team out there that is looking for a quarterback that can make plays with his feet and doesn't necessarily have to rely on his running back and his wide receivers to make every play for him, this is the guy to go for. You have some great rushing quarterbacks in this. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is decent. I think Justin Fields is a good rusher. Even Zack Wilson, he's kind of an athlete. I think he's got some athleticism in him. But Trey Lance is a major freak athlete. I think that this is the guy that is definitely going to impress you with his feet out of any of the guys in this NFL draft class for these QBs, out of the top main guys. So Trey Lance coming in at number 5. Let's go to number 4. Number 4, I have the guy who people downgrade a lot, but I think I'm really high on this guy. This guy isn't a guy who's going to be the most mobile, but this is a guy who can throw the ball, and he can throw it accurately, and he can throw it downfield really, really well. Mack Jones, quarterback, the national champion from Alabama. Mack Jones, obviously, he plays the end of the 2019 season after Tua Tagovailoa gets hurt in, the Mississippi State game against them. He had a decent, I don't want to say he was amazing. He obviously had his mistakes. He was decent in 2019, but 2020 just flipped a switch, and Mack Jones took off. He was an amazing player last season. Obviously, was in the Heisman race. He lost to his own wide receiver. I think that says a lot about the players that you have in that Alabama team. But you look at this guy, 311 completions, 77.4 completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 11.2 average for 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in an all-SEC slate. What else can you say? All-SEC slate, you have to play every single team, like all the good teams. I think the only teams that this team did not play, they didn't play South Carolina, and they didn't play they played Missouri. They didn't play South Carolina, and they didn't play Vanderbilt, I think. I think they played every other team in the SEC. So it's not like Alabama got off from playing Florida or Georgia or Texas A&M or LSU this season. They played them all, and Mack Jones was still able to throw these numbers up. Deep ball passing, this guy is so accurate. He could throw the ball downfield really well. Again, he's not a guy who's going to beat you with his feet. He's not the most mobile guy, but if you have a good offensive line and you have the weapons on the outside, Mack Jones is definitely a guy I'm looking at. If you want a true pocket passer, go for Mack Jones. He's the best. I don't want to say he's the best pocket passer in this draft class, but he's definitely top two. Top 2 in my opinion. Mack Jones, at number 4. We go to number 3. This one is again going to draw a lot of controversy because this guy's draft stock has gone up, shot up so much recently. I have no clue why. I mean, I like this guy. I like all these quarterbacks. I'm not going to say anything negative about these quarterbacks. Honestly, truthfully, I like all these guys. There's no guy here. Actually, that's a lie. There is one guy that I do not like at all, but I still have to rank him in here because he is going to go number 1 overall. I don't need to say his name. You guys probably already know, but I like all these guys. Zack Wilson is my number 3 guy. His stock has gone up so much recently. The Jets, so many people are projecting him to go to the Jets. But if I'm the Jets, I'm not picking Zack Wilson. There's another guy on here that I think is going to be the better quarterback, better boom potential. But don't get me wrong, Zack Wilson had an amazing season at BYU. He's an athletic guy, and he's just a fun, electric player. Nothing else to say about it. He makes plays, and he's just exciting to watch. This season, he threw for 3,692 yards, 33 touchdowns for 3 interceptions, and led BYU to the top 25 spot. They were a really good team this year. Zack Wilson, though, I just feel like I can't put him in front of the number 2 guy, even though so many people have downgraded this number 2 guy. He's honestly to the point where I'm like, this guy's underrated now. I've seen him been falling back to my Panthers. I'm a big Bears and Panthers fan. Obviously, I got the Christian McCaffrey jersey, and for those of you listening on the podcast, I have a Christian McCaffrey, nice Carolina blue jersey behind me. But I've seen the guy coming in at number 2 falling back to the Panthers, who's the number 8 team, when you have 4 teams in front that need a quarterback. It's just absolutely insane. But coming in at number 2, I have Justin Fields. He doesn't need an introduction. He's the most, you're either really high on him or you're really low on him, you hate him. I like Justin Fields. I have no problem coming out here and saying that. You might be a guy who's no way Justin Fields is going to be good in the NFL. I just do not see it happening. Did you see him in the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern? He looked terrible. Look at all the picks he threw in that game. Well, I just say to you that there's a lot of people who probably said the same thing about, or were saying, the people that are saying Justin Fields is not a good player are the same people who are like, oh yeah, Clemson has an amazing defense. Those people, oh my gosh, can't stand them. I'm sorry if you're one of those people who are really high on Clemson's defense and hate Justin Fields, but Sugar Bowl, just go back to the Sugar Bowl. Just go flick on the Sugar Bowl right now. I'm pretty sure that was the bowl they played in. Yeah, it was the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl this season, but just turn that game on. Justin Fields, some of the deep ball throws he had in that game, some of the plays he was able to make with his feet, they lit up Clemson's defense. For you guys who say, oh, Clemson has one of the best defenses in all of college football. Yes, so Justin Fields still lit him up. Justin Fields is a guy who, out of these 5 guys, is definitely in the top 2 for potential boom. This guy could either be at the very top of the league. I would not be shocked at all if you see this guy as a top 10 quarterback in the next coming years, maybe even top 5. He is that good. He has that good of potential. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we all know that Justin Fields has the athleticism and the pure talent to be able to become a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Will he is the question. Look at how the last Ohio State quarterback ended up. From the Washington football team, one of the first QBs off the board, I think Kyler went, and then you had DJ, Daniel Jones, and then you had Dwayne Haskins go. He's now in Pittsburgh. He was terrible at Washington. Justin Fields isn't going to turn out like Dwayne Haskins. I still believe in this guy through the roof. I think he has potential through the roof, and I think that he should be the Jets pick. He should be the guy that whatever team is going to take the second quarterback off the board, you go for Justin Fields, because if you want to hit a home run, no one that is going to be available is going to give you a better chance at hitting a home run than Justin Fields is. Bottom line, in my opinion. Coming in at number 1, the only quarterback that I don't like, the only quarterback that I'm not going to say oh yeah, I love this guy. I love watching him play here. I'm not going to say that because I'm a huge Carolina Gamecocks fan and I hate the Clemson Tigers more than anything else in the world. That being said, you have to give credit where credit is due. You have to respect the guy for how good he is of a player. And honestly, he's not that bad of a guy either. I just don't like him purely because he just lights up my Gamecocks defense every single year, and it's not fun for me to watch my Gamecocks get blown out 56-3 every single season. But Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 quarterback in the draft. You didn't even have to click on this video and watch this to know that everyone thinks that this guy is the number 1 quarterback in the draft, and for good reason. Just pure talent. He can make plays with his feet, and he can just throw the ball. Like, it's I don't need to explain why he's good. You guys already know why he's good, and you already know that he's going to be Urban Meyer's number 1 pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's how good Trevor Lawrence is. He's just an amazing player, man. Like, I hate to say it. I hate to sit up here. Like, look, I got my nice Carolina sweater on right now. For those of you listening to the podcast, I'm wearing a nice garnet, beautiful garnet and black and white sweatshirt right now. I hate to say it. It kills me. It kills my Gamecock side of me, but Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first overall pick in this NFL draft, and he has the most potential out of any of these guys to be a home run. Like, he could get to Tom Brady status. He could get to Mahomes status. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it because that's just how good he is, and I have to be honest about that. He threw for, do I even need to say his stats? Like, he finished second in the Heisman voting, 3,153 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Yeah, Mack Jones and Kyle Trask threw way more than him, but again, he played in the ACC. Not that good conference. Like, I could ramble on and on about the ACC, but there's no excuse I can make, an honest excuse, and try to make myself sound good in any way saying that Trevor Lawrence is not the number 1 quarterback in this draft. I can't say it. He's going to go number 1, and it's just how it is.